Right, what have we got today? Another review, this time a flashlight. I'm quite looking forward to this one, even though it's a larger scale keyring type. As you know, I use the TI3, which is the through night, and I love that. I use that on my keys all the time, which is very similar in size to the Astrolux A01. The reason I'm comparing it to this is they're the same company. So this is Astrolux, and this is Astrolux as well. To me, this is Astrolux's version of what Nightcore do, which is, I think they call theirs you have the tube, and you have the slightly larger one as well. So to me, this is their version of that. Although I do have the tube for review. I'm not going to do it in this video. I'll use it as a size comparison, but I've just never had a time to get around and have a look at it. And it's smaller than this. So, right, let's crack on. Astrolux K1. So as you can see, a couple of buttons there. And you have different modes. Now, how this differs from most flashlights is it has its own battery in it. So let's get straight to the point. What is the point of having a built-in battery when you can just have a torch where you put a battery in? What's the point? Well, there's two advantages. One is you don't have to take the battery out to put it into a charger to charge. You're taking that part of the equation out of it. You'd simply plug the USB into this and it charges it. Also, you don't need as much real estate. By that I mean the battery is enclosed in this. You don't have to have springs and all sorts of things that you'd have in another one where you would have a traditional battery setup. So you save a little bit of space, and everyone's got a computer these days or some sort of USB charging available. That's the thought behind it anyway. So now I think I got the 219, so you can ignore this figure here, but it's at least between 300 and 350 lumens, but I will check that. So you've got different modes. You can get a UV one and all sorts of stuff in red and green. Again, what's the point of the different ones? UV, well, that's a limit of limited use to myself, but you can use it to check for bodily fluids and things like that. Unless you're on CSI, I don't see the point of it. Red ones, tactically speaking, from the army, you would use that to try not to destroy night vision. And when I'm talking about night vision, I'm not talking about image intensifiers. I'm talking about the human night vision, as in after about half an hour you get your night vision. You're able to see better in the dark. If you then do that and shine that in your face, you've just ruined that. So you've got to wait another 20 minutes before your eyes are accustomed to the dark. So I could see the point of a red one, but you know, it's a bit daft. Unless you're a parachute jumper or in the army, probably not necessary. So I'm going to go through the specs on the box rather than just rattle them away. So you have the different versions, but we'll ignore that. So maximum beam distance is 70. Now what they're talking about there is throw. When you talk about torches, you have a throw. Now throw is how far the light's going to be emitted. You have throw and then you have spread. Now spread is how much it spreads out. Generally, if you have a reflector like this orange peel, you're getting the best of both worlds. If you have a flat reflector, it's only interested in throwing the light. This tends to diffuse it slightly, which I find more interesting and more useful in my applications, closer up in mid-range. I'm not on a pirate ship. I don't work in a lighthouse. I don't need a thrower. So they're quoting 70 meters. Yeah, may or may not. You're not going to get much light at that point anyway. Breathing light displays battery percentage. So what they're trying to talk about there is there's going to be a visual cue as to how much battery you've got. Good torches have this feature. So, you know, something like this, you've just got to guess what the battery's at or just stick it in the charger. Torches like the BLF-A6 here, you can put it into a mode, I can't remember off the top of my head for this one, but you put it into a mode where it'll give you a certain number of flashes. So 4 flashes on this one means 100%. 2 flashes is 50%, and you can work the rest out for yourself. So it gives you a visual aid as to the battery level. So that's quite handy. And let's move on. High efficiency constant current, yeah, okay, whatever. Stainless steel, yeah. IP65. It's not an IPX8, it's an IPX6. In other words, they're saying waterproof. Don't go swimming with it. That would be my advice. It's not fully waterproof, but it's got a charging port, so it's not going to be. Okay, and then click twice for turbo. It's got a micro USB, so that's how you charge it up. And portable keychain design, and by that I mean you have this to put on a fob, and they're saying it's portable as in it's small enough to go on a keychain. And then the specs here, so you have, now depending on whether it's the Cree or the Nicaea, you've got at least about 300 lumens, then you've got a 220 lumen mode, a 100 mode and a 10 mode. Now with those differences you're going to get different runtime. So if you run it at 10 lumens you're going to get quite a nice, now 10 lumens you can do a lot with that, that's not bad. 18 hours, and that's pretty impressive. And 3.2, and it's quite interesting, you know, these runtimes, you could use it as a, you could actually hang that in a tent at a certain mode and you would get that amount of time. And most people take a mobile phone when they go camping anyway, and most people also take a power bank. Now you could use that power bank to charge this up as well as your phone. So this could be, you know, you're not going to get loads of light, but this could be a viable use as a lantern, but you're not going to get much spread. But you could put a diffuser on there or make one yourself, but that's getting out the realms of what this video is actually about. Intensity, well, that's irrelevant, we're only interested in the lumens. Distance 70, impact resistance 2 meters, right? What they're saying there is if you drop that from 2 meters, it's highly likely to not be damaged. Any higher than that and it's highly likely that it will be damaged. But take that with a pinch of salt, because it depends what you drop it on. If you drop it on granite, you're going to get a different effect to dropping it on sand. Just try not to drop it. So we'll open it up here, but obviously I'm presuming this doesn't come charged, so I'll have to stop the video, charge it, give it a proper charge and see what it's like. So let's open it and see what it's like. And as for design, there's different covers you can get, different colours. I went for, I would call this a burnished steel, as in it looks like it's been heat treated. That's what it looks like to me. So let's see what's in here. It doesn't feel too heavy. It looks pretty good actually. Now is that really keychain size? Or that's bigger than the fob I use for the car. It's got a little bit of weight to it. But as you can see, it has a reflector. Now look at the difference in reflectors. This one is orange peel. You have a dimpled effect, therefore you get a nice, for me personally anyway, you get a nice throw but also a nice diffuse effect, so you can actually, it's actually usable. This one seems to be more of a thrower, as in it is a flat reflector. It doesn't have any dimples, so that's okay. We'll see if there's any charge. No, comes dead, so I need to find the charge. There it is. So pull that off, and then that needs a charge. So it's only right and fair that I review this after a full charge. So I'll give it a full charge, I'll have another look at it, and then eventually we'll go out and do a bit of flashing and hopefully not get caught. So I shall be back. Right, I'm back. Right, this thing's had a chance to charge, and just to show you how it works when it's charging, there's the charging light there. So you stick it in the USB and this lets you know it's charged, and it changes colour obviously when it's fully done. So we'll take that out. It's had long enough. Now that's not really much of a cover, is it? I don't think you're going to get much waterproofing from that, but okay. It says so on the package, but like I say, it's not IPX8. Remember that. Do not use in water. Okay, so we've got the 3 LEDs here, 1 in a reflector and 2 that aren't. So your main modes are through the 2 buttons. Now what I quite like about this is, watch, standard press does nothing, because I am sick and tired of getting torches where one tiny flick and they're on, and you've had it in your pocket all day, and then you get to camp and oh, the battery's run out because it's been on all day and you didn't realise. So I actually like that. I like that design. It prevents accidental usage. I've got a power bank like that where it has an LED and it's forever knocked on, and I'm sick of it. So back to the matter at hand here, you've got the main button and then your other modes. So these are your smaller ones here. So you've got hold it on for function. Now to me that's hardly UV, is it? Personally, I think that's just a small, quick, low lumen access mode as far as I'm concerned. Not useful enough if you just want to do little bits and pieces. And then you can switch between that and red light, and I've already explained what red light's for. Red light is to prevent the loss of night sight in the human eye, so that could be useful, but you know, I mean, dear me. unless you're rock climbing or trying to kill someone with a shotgun in the midnight, it's probably not that useful, but you do know what it's for. Okay, so you can flip between those modes and then long press again for off. Bang, lovely, nice UI. And then for the main beam, again, long press, and then you have your modes. So we'll start at the beginning. So there you go, you've got low, medium, high, and then what I presume is turbo, slightly higher, but there'll probably be a step down for heat issues eventually. And then you have my favourite mode, tactical strobe. Now again, how tactical is it if you can't get it to immediately? If you can't get the strobe immediately, I don't consider it tactical, because I can't imagine if someone was going to beat the living daylights out of me, I couldn't say, hang on, right, my torch is on, right, hang on a bit longer, no, it's not on, right, wait, don't beat me up yet, hang on, right, I'm tactical strobe, right, now we're trying to attack me. That doesn't happen in real life, unfortunately. But I like the small little hook here, and it's doubled, so that's interesting. It feels solid, not too heavy, but size wise, I think that's starting to get too big. I think if you want more lumens and something slightly small, you might be better going for the Nightcore Tiny, but there you go, that's just what I think. But if you don't need that much light, you could try, which I still haven't reviewed yet, but I will get around to it. That's the Nightcore Tube, which I must charge and do a review on. So size difference, look, that I would consider a key ring, but I mean, there's a big size difference there. It's tiny, and yet that's exactly the same mechanism. You use a USB to charge on the side. So let's line this up for size. So there's the K1 by Astrolux. There's Nightcore's Tube, which obviously isn't going to put out the same amount of lumens, and the battery's going to be smaller. BLF Ace6, just for size comparison, which I think is a beautiful torch anyway. Astrolux, same company as this, Astrolux K1, if my memory serves me correctly, which nice torch. And the Whopper TN4A by Through Night. So it's getting bigger than the Tube, but I quite like it, and I like the runtime stated. If those runtimes ring true, it's a pretty handy thing to have on your keyring. I like it. But I will be looking into reviewing one of the Nightcore tips, which is the equivalent to this, because they look quite nice. This doesn't come with a belt holster, but you don't really need it. It's designed to go on a keyring anyway. So again, those modes, long press for the secondary modes, red, and you could consider that a UV really, but it's not very UV-ish, it's more white to me. And then long to off, long on, and then you've got your different modes, boom, 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 and tactical strobe, which isn't very tactical, and then back again. So we'll pop outside and have a look and see how it performs. It should perform better than, I think the last review I did was the Astrolux. That's only putting out around 100 lumens, so this should be 3 times better. So we'll see how it does. Reflector size, it's smaller than the K0, so it'll be interesting to see how it does. I probably won't be testing the secondary modes because they're not putting out a lot of light. You're not really going to see much. I might have a little look and see how it goes, but let's get out and do a bit of flashing. Right, I've been out and I've had a go and I've had a bit of flash on with it, and you know what, I'm more impressed than I thought I would be, and I'll tell you why. I thought because of the smooth reflector it was all going to be a thin beam, not much use, not very bright. It is bright. It's obviously, you know, substantially brighter than this, which is putting out 100. This is the sort of thing I carry normally. It makes me wonder whether I should be carrying one of these, either this or the Nightcore tip. It's more functional, you've got more modes, you've got a red light mode. It's got a lot going for it. And it's USB rechargeable, which is handy if you're at work or in the car. You just stick it in and away you go. It's very tempting, but it's heavier. It's like double on a TI3 or the Astrolux here, the K1. I like it, and it's a lot better than I thought it would be. Nice and bright. It's got more spread than I thought. It's actually very good, a very capable piece. So I'm going to give this, for what it is, and bear in mind it's less expensive than the Nightcore equivalent, and it's better than something too small like the Nightcore tube, which I dislike this array where there's no reflector. The problem with having no reflector is that you get very poor light management, and you get spread and it affects your night vision, whereas this is more directional control. It's tough. I'll give it a 7. I wish it was lighter, but I realise that's not always possible, and to be fair, that's a metal cover, so I can't really complain if I've ordered the one with a metal cover when the plastic would weigh less. It feels solid. There's very little shake other than the clips, so for the money, definitely worth it. You can get these for about $15, not even that. I like the design, it looks nice, and the run times are impressive. You're not going to get exactly those run times, but as stated, they're very impressive. I like it. So actually no, give it a 7.5. It deserves it, especially with that price. I just wish it was lighter, that's all. And I don't understand how it says one of these is UV when essentially that's not blue, to my eye anyway. So apart from that, 7.5. Completely recommend getting one of these. I've had no problems with it. I've given it a good test there. I've been through fields, I've tried in trees, near trees, in flat ground, on tarmac, indoors, outdoors. Highly recommended. I just wish it was smaller and lighter, but it's damn good when you consider. It's damn good. I mean, look, compare that in size to something like the A6. You're getting a lot for the size. And even though the reflector is smaller than the traditional Astrolux here, it's got a beautiful spread, and it's 3 times lighter than 3 times brighter than this. So yeah, 7.5. Go get yourself one. Highly recommended. I will look into reviewing. Well, I've got to review the tube at some point, and then I will review the Nightcore tip at some point as well. But I like that. In fact, there's a newer version of the tip coming out, the 2017 version, but we'll get into that. So 7.5, get yourself one, no problem.